Hi everybody, welcome back to the Hollywood Actors Guide to Surviving the Film and Television Industry. This is your host, Jennifer Lynn Warren, trying not to breathe all this smoke in North Hollywood. Let's hope that we get these fires under control really soon. I hope you are safe and healthy out there. So, first off on our list today, let's get a little controversial. I was watching something and they were talking about school and how pointless school is and how it's just kind of broken. And they were talking about how school was created by Carnegie Mellon to make you compliant. It was really structured the way it is now when factories started to be developed and they wanted a way to make us into good little worker bees. And if you think about it, it really does make a lot of sense. And when you look at somebody's resume, now they were talking about like a regular resume where you have like quote unquote real jobs, even though, you know, acting's a real job, but you know what I mean? Like it's the place where you put like I waited a table or I waited a table. If only. I've waited tables at this restaurant. I've bartended here and there, you know, that kind of resume. And they said it's just a list of brand names saying that one is compliant with instructions. So you were compliant with what that company needed for you to do, for you to get a job, for you to work there. And unfortunately, that is what a lot of work is, and that is what schooling prepares us for. And it got me thinking about actors and how we just want to be good little worker bees and how we want to just please the casting director. And we're taking everything we learned from school, whereas if you just do A, B, and C, then you're going to get a good grade. And we take that into our acting career, and we're like, we seek out these gurus, and we're like, just tell me what I have to do to have a great career, or just have a career. And to further connect it, Erica Bream, who's a casting director, she has a great Instagram. She put out a post today, and I want to read it to you. She said, "Actors, you are what make your self-tape interesting. If you erase your own point of view, personality, life experience, etc., then your tape is going to feel two-dimensional. Allow your uniqueness to filter into your choices within the tone of the piece. #CastingLovesYou. Recently, I cast a role where I received several tapes that may as well have been carbon copies of each other. The actors didn't do anything wrong. They hit every beat on the page, but they didn't allow themselves to enter into the equation, which resulted in near identical tapes. Again, they followed directions. They paid attention to every bit of the page, including stage directions. They just didn't try to connect what was in the sides to their own experience and point of view. The actor who got the role didn't remotely have the same life experience as the character, but she didn't allow that to stop her from connecting more deeply to what the character was experiencing and feeling. Her tape was interesting from her first moment." You don't have to match a character's experience to be able to connect with them. You simply have to do the work to understand what they've gone through, what the relationship is, the person they're talking to, etc., and make sense of it in your own head and body, and then let go. And she is so right. And so you have the actors who booked the roles, and then you have these couple other actors that went to school, learned how to do A, B, and C, they got all the right questions, all the questions right on the test, right? They aced it. They're A students. They got all the questions right on the test. But the actor that really embraced it and made it their own, and maybe even didn't get all the questions quite right, but made choices and made it interesting, booked the role. And so I think there really is something to be said with how detrimental our schooling has been. And I'm not talking about acting classes, because your arts classes are a different breed. It's a whole different thing altogether. I'm talking about the structured preschool through even to the end of college, you can even argue the way that they make us conform to their rules. We have to eat lunch at a certain time. We have to pass our test. Like, it's just so structured and so rigid that it makes us good little compliant factory workers and office workers. But that is not what we are or what we need to be as actors. So I want you to take a look at that and see, you know, what is on your resume, not only as an actor in your acting resume, but what's on your resume for your, you know, quote, other resume that you have when you're going out and getting your survival jobs, and see where you have needed to be compliant with society and where maybe you thought outside the box, and that's what booked your role, or that's what got you a job that maybe you weren't qualified for, even in your survival jobs. Because I did notice that if I look at my survival job resume, the jobs that I was not qualified for, that I got in and it wasn't checking boxes, it wasn't being compliant, I got in a different way, were much more satisfactory and much more true to my nature as an artist. There's this really cool guy. He's in the tech sector, so you probably haven't heard of him unless you're a geek like me. His name is Peter Diamandis, and he has a quote, and he said, "Technology is either disruptive stress or opportunity." Yesterday, I watched a movie on Netflix that is trending called The Social Dilemma. I highly recommend that you watch it. I want you to watch it, because if you do use social media, which you probably do because we're told as actors that we have to pretty much, though I think that's a pretty evil stance for the industry to be taking, but I digress. It's good to know how you're manipulated. It'll make you more aware of how much time you might be spending randomly scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, and how their algorithms work and why you see the things that you see. But I also want you to watch it because it shows you how the algorithms work and why you see what you see. So if we have to be on social media, right, and we have to gain followers and we have to promote like the TV show that we're on and like get like our friends and family to like watch everything, when I get annoyed with something, this Valley girl just kind of comes out of me, so I apologize. It's funny because the documentary really takes a look at the negative sides of social media, but in a way, it also shows you how you can manipulate the social media system to maybe help promote your films, and how the algorithms work, and how to maybe use the system to manipulate it in your benefit. So it's one of those things that if it's an evil that's necessary in your life, you might as well know how to use it. So that's going to be a recommendation for you guys. It's called The Social Dilemma on Netflix. Okay, kids, one last little section here. You know I like to do these in threes. Short and sweet. Sometimes you just don't feel like getting into character. You gotta put it on tape. You gotta go into that audition. Heck, sometimes you gotta go do that performance. And I know that not everybody has this imagination. I can't imagine an artist not, but when I read a script, it plays like a movie in my head. I've been told that's not true for everybody, which blows my mind. And if it's not true for you, try it. Maybe you can just will your brain to turn it on. Just play it like a movie in your head. And you know what, guys? You just gotta do it. And sometimes you gotta imagine what your character is doing and mimic it. Just freaking mimic it. And it's going to feel false, and it's going to feel like a lie. And at first it is, because you're literally not putting in any real work or emotion. You're just doing the mimicry. But it's funny, there's something that happens to your body that when you start mimicking something, you start to feel it. So just do it a couple times, and that character is gonna creep in. It's gonna creep into your skin, and it's gonna show up, and then boom, there's your performance. And you'll be like, where was this performance this whole time? And you're like, I don't even know, but here it is. Just because I mimicked it, bam, here I go. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Each and every one of you mean the world to me. Break a leg out there, and remember, you are not alone.